Hello everyone and welcome back to another EV Geek Podcast review. I am Joel, he is Sebastian, and today, courtesy of Evolve Auto, we have ourselves a Polestar 2. A used Polestar 2, a 2022 Polestar 2 dual motor, long range. So, Sebastian, first impressions looking at the car.
Yeah, so just right off the bat, you never see these.
We never see them here
or
in
at least
Arkansas.
not here in Arkansas,
Yep.
not in Central Arkansas especially. And so I'm really excited to be probably the first. Not only is this the first one I've seen on the roads in Little Rock, it will be the first one I've ever driven. So I'm super excited about that. And this is an interesting car to me, like as far as, you know, there's this whole thing, Polestar is its own brand now, but it's still very much Volvo and they're owned by the same parent company. And so it's interesting to see kind of Polestar's first attempt at I guess it's not their first attempt, there's technically the Polestar one.
Yep.
But their first attempt at kind of mass marketing their own electric vehicle. And so I'm just excited about that aspect of it.
So yeah, so speaking with Colin at Evolve, you know, this is only the second Polestar they have, you know, ever gotten and sold in the last 3 years. So we're excited to get a chance to look at this one. We're gonna get set up, do a quick outside tour of the car, then look at the infotainment and inside tour, do a driving review, and then our final thoughts. So stay tuned. All right, we are back with our 2022 Polestar 2. Sebastian, let's take a quick walk around of this EV.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what this color is called, but I really like this blue, this kind of darker color. It's still kind of a little more monochrome than I like, but it's at least a little bit.
Yes.
So one thing Polestar does on all of their vehicles is they put this little sticker on the side of the doors that gives you the specs you need to know, and actually it's really helpful here. So this is the Polestar 2.
Yep.
We have a 78 kilowatt hour pack. I don't know if that's usable or gross. Mm-hmm. And the motor output is 300 kilowatts.
There we go.
That is not your charge speed or max charge speed, which on this one I believe is right around 200 kilowatts, which shouldn't be too bad. It looked like when I was doing brief research, the curve is okay. It looked decent. I don't know what they quote like 10 to 80 times as. Do you?
I don't know. I didn't research that.
Okay.
So yes.
So I'll put that on the screen below
Yes.
when I edit this.
So yeah, so this is a 2022. So this has you said 78 kilowatt hour battery. So according to Polestar, up to 260 miles of range.
Yeah.
EPA is
249.
249. We charged it to 100% last night and got 240.
Yeah.
So maybe a tad bit of degradation over 3 years, but nothing significant.
Yeah. One thing too, while we're talking about it, you have power fold mirrors, which that is the slowest power fold I've ever seen. Anyway, you do also get all 4 doors have the proximity lock, so you just grab a handle, it unlocks. You can tap here to lock it, and it does a very aggressive beep. And it comes from the mirror, which
Cool.
is so interesting to me. Coming around, so these wheels I think look awesome. They're 19-inch wheels. I don't know what pack you have to get these wheels, but I think these look really good. You have your charge port in the correct location for Tesla supercharger use, which is
Backside
vehicle
driver.
can use Tesla superchargers, you know, the ones that are compatible V3, V4 stations. Just press on it to open it. CCS port as
The
expected
dongle.
with the little dangly bit.
We all know that's Sebastian's favorite.
You do have a little light here as well, which is nice, so you can see what you're plugging in. It also will communicate charge status.
A little button and can cancel a charge session too in there as well.
Right. Coming around back, so this looks like a sedan. It looks really good. I love this light bar. I'm going to see if I can make it light up. One sec. I can't. Anyway. Oh, there it goes. It does like a little animation. I love this like C-shaped light bar. This again though goes into Polestar's trying to be their own brand, but this is a very much Volvo lighting signature.
Yeah.
That said, it's not a sedan. It's actually a hatchback.
It is.
And you've got a good sized trunk in here, and you have a really decent little underfloor storage area as well. I was actually really impressed by that. You've got your netting, and this one, which I'm sure it's an option, you have a button here. Press it.
What's it do?
If you'll move the camera so you can see it. When you press it, you get
An automatic tow hitch.
a tow hitch, which that is a 1 1/4 inch, so you're not doing anything crazy.
Yeah,
That's
you're not
mainly
doing
going to be
anything
for like bike racks and small accessories, but still cool to
Still
see.
good to have that, yeah.
And then you press the button again to
Goes up and
goes down a little bit, and you just press it in.
That's how all tow
Boom.
hitches should be, yes.
I do also appreciate this one. You have your buttons on the trunk to not only close it, but you can also close and lock the car from here, which is really nice. And really, passenger side, not a whole lot to talk about on this side of the vehicle.
You want to do the backseat test?
Let's look at the back seat, and then we're going to look around front real quick.
Gotcha.
So, back seat. For those who are new, I am 6 foot tall.
Yes.
Joel is a little taller.
I'm an inch taller with nice shoes on.
So just kind of hopping in, I can kind of see already this is a little small.
Yep. The seat was extremely far back when I drove too, so I didn't adjust it.
So my head is touching the roof.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would need to slouch some, and then this seat
Would have to go up some.
would need to go up some. That said, for short trips, this
Yeah.
wouldn't be bad, or for trips where it's you and children in the back.
Yep.
This is fine. No leather on this interior, which is interesting. You do, however, get two USB-C ports,
Alrighty.
2 air vents, which is nice because this isn't a huge cabin, so it's good
Yeah.
to see you actually get air vents. You also have this kind of cool textile pattern on the door for your speakers, additional, like it's all.
A back door lock too.
And you can lock the door from back. Yeah. That's actually really cool.
Yep.
No sunroof. I don't know if that's an option or if these just don't have sunroofs.
Yep.
Coming around front, we're gonna check out the front trunk. Also, it just looks good at the front.
It does.
The Thor's hammer lights are good and whatnot. So to open the front trunk, this took me a second the first time I did it. The latch is
It's right there. It's
over here.
It's yellow. I can see it.
I couldn't see it from where I was. I'm not far enough over.
There.
Look at that.
So a little
coming
tiny.
under
You get a good sized little.
You
front
get a
here.
good little frunk. You've got this little piece that I'm sure the government requires them to put in so that they don't have to do the little emergency release. I bet it's probably pretty easy to take out.
Yep.
You got a tire mobility kit up here, your jack, and you've got some little adapters like that. Looks like it's for the EVSC that this one might not have since it's a used vehicle.
Yep.
But really, not a whole lot else under the front here.
Yep. So we're gonna head on inside. We'll do a quick little tour of the inside, quick little tour of the infotainment, and then we'll do our driving review. All right, we are back in our Polestar 2, courtesy of Evolve Auto. So playing around with the software here, Sebastian, let's do a quick tour of the inside, then look at the infotainment.
Yeah, so inside is actually really simple. It's a good blend between kind of how Tesla does everything, where you just get the screen, and how a traditional automaker does it, right? Your climate stuff is still on the screen, but you still have like a physical shifter and a physical volume knob, which is nice. And then you've got like shortcuts to your defrost, which makes sense. You do have a two USB-C ports here.
As we're charging our camera.
As well as, I don't know if this is actually a wireless charger or if it just looks like a wireless charger.
It looks like a wireless charger, so probably is.
Jury's still out. Someone can tell me about that.
We'll check it in a minute.
Coming over just kind of around, you have a nice auto-dimming mirror, no camera, but that's kind of seems standard at this point. You've got your SOS button. That all makes sense. Oh, these are actually tapped. Look at that.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot, right?
Yep.
I did think this was very weird. You've got a cup holder, one, except you also have a second cup holder in the center console. And in order to use it, you would have to do that and go all the way back. That seems like a odd decision.
Because there's side pockets, but not looking like cup holders in the side pockets.
And then you can do that and actually pull the insert out.
Oh, cool.
And then have a center console, which seems like a weird decision.
Yep.
I mean, if you're someone like me who's usually in the car by themselves, like when they're going back and forth to work, that's not a big deal, but it's still weird.
Yep.
Coming around, I just also noticed there's like 17 million air vents in this car, it looks like.
There's like here, there's up here, there's up there. Yes, there's a lot of
There's a
air
lot,
vents.
which I know some of them are defrost, whatever. I do also like this has the very Volvo thing of you get the little clip on the windshield for like a parking pass or ticket or anything, which is kind of cool. And that gets into the kind of the whole, this is the first mass market Polestar vehicle that, or at least Polestar has its own brand, but there's still so much in here that's very Volvo. So let's talk about the infotainment now.
Yeah, because that's very like XC40 recharges.
Yeah, so
very
this,
similar.
we've driven the EX90 and EX30 recently, and those have the newer Volvo OS in it. This has the older one in it. So this is kind of your key up what it looks like. So you have your 4 quadrants here, and you can come in here, and we just figured this out. It took us a while.
Yeah.
You can swipe on this to see the other apps that you can put in that corner. So you have a performance app, which gets you a G-force meter. Nice.
Down here, you
Come
hit
here is your home.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
like
kind
an
of this
iPad
little
almost.
line. You swipe it again, and you can get your maps. You
Waze.
have, I don't know what JL is. You have Waze, you've got YouTube, etc. So I'll actually do maps again.
Yeah.
This is Google Maps. This is like it works in all the other Android Automotive vehicles and at route plans.
Yep.
And when we just did this to Austin, it actually did a pretty good job. It was pretty quick. And the charging stops don't seem unreasonable.
Yeah.
Considering this has, again, it's showing 240 miles of range at 100%.
Yeah.
To go, how far is it to Austin? I don't remember.
To tell you how many
Isn't there
miles.
some way to see how many?
So 9 hours and 47 minutes. That's with charging. So
So once this stop in 114 miles, and we'll be at 33%. And then it stops giving me distances after that.
Down at the bottom, it said 499
Oh,
miles.
okay, there you go. So yeah, that doesn't seem too unreasonable. And I mean, it's pretty snappy. It works pretty quick. Coming back home, you have your range assistance. So this looks similar to other Volvo vehicles right now. It's actually showing our guessometer is 220 miles.
It's a little chilly out.
It's saying at best we would do 280, at worst 120. That's based on driving history.
Yep.
We're currently using 1 kilowatt of energy, just sitting here.
Good old bar graph.
Gives you a little bar graph. I don't love the Volvo unit where they do 38.9 kilowatt hours for every 100 miles of driving.
Because you have to do math.
Because then you have to do math to figure out what that means.
No one likes to do math.
But I like seeing it, and you can actually come in here and change it to 100-mile overview, 20-mile, 40-mile, which is kind of neat. Coming over here, you can see it's also telling us we have a low-consumption driving style, or whoever this was.
Yep.
And you have a quick shortcut to eco-climate. What's under settings? Okay, so you can change on the screen. Do you want it to be based on the certified value, or do you want it to be the guessometer?
Yep.
I actually really like that. I like that is a selectable option. So you see, I switched it. Now it shows 220 miles on the gauge cluster instead of 240.
Yeah.
Very cool. I appreciate that a lot.
Yep.
Coming back into here, you have your phones. This does have Bluetooth, of course. You do also get Apple CarPlay. You do not get Android Auto because this is Android Automotive.
Yep.
And then you have your music controls, which right now it's on AM, or FM radio, and you can come down here and it shows you the apps that are installed. So like Spotify, Sirius XM, Libby. Cool that there's a Libby app for Android Automotive. I didn't know that. As someone who loves audiobooks, that is a good thing. You can come in here. This is like other Volvo vehicles where you have your kind of vehicle menu. So you have your quick settings for driving feel. So you can change your steering feel. You can do sport mode. You can set up with your one pedal drive, and you have an individual button for creep, which we love to see. You can come up here, driver's assistance, and you get a bunch of screens. I love in this that you can actually come in here and choose between adaptive cruise and regular cruise control, because sometimes you find yourself in situations where you don't necessarily want adaptive cruise control.
Want regular cruise.
Right. You can also come here, lane keep, and set up, do you want it to do steering, or do you want it to just vibrate if you get close to the lane? Driver alert, you can do roadside information. Do you want to have speed limit warnings? Do you want it to be visual? Do you want sound? Do you want to offset? All that's nice. You get your collision avoidance. You get blind spot. You get it ready to drive. So if you're stopped, a car in front of you moves away, you're not paying attention, it'll go ding ding and let you know. Come here to charge menu. You can see we're actually at 99% now.
We lost 1%.
But you can just do this. You have a very easy way of setting your charge limit all the way down to 40%.
Yeah.
You don't usually see them let you go down that low. I'm going to go ahead and set that back to 80. You can also set up your how much power on a level 2. And it's in amps, which is nice, so you can go all the way down to 6 amps. Golly.
That'd be a slow charge.
That would, I mean, again, if you're doing something like parking at like an airport or a hotel overnight, to be able to charge that slowly is awesome, all the way up to a 48 amp onboard charger. You go more, you have even more settings for your car, so you have your car status. Right now, it's going to tell us no warnings, all is good.
That's good.
Tire pressures, it says are happy, everything's happy.
Now what I did hear from the people in the group, it doesn't display the tire pressure. It just tells you.
It just tells you it's good.
If you need to fill it up. So yeah.
And then you come over here, it tells you recommended next service. You have your locking menu, so this gives you, do you want it to unlock all doors, single door? When you use the remote, do you want driver door, all doors? Do you want it to beep? Do you want just lights, etc., which is nice to see. Interior lights, this does have ambient lighting, but it's daytime and we can't see them.
Yep.
And you can change the intensity.
Assuming they'd be probably up here somewhere.
You've got your exterior light settings, which is a lot of settings. Holy crap. So it does corner illumination. It does active bending. You can turn on and off the Thor's hammer lights. You want to do a triple turn signal. Do you want it to light up as you approach? Do you want it to automatically check trailer lights for that trailer hitch back there? And then you can do a manual light checks there. Well, I don't know what guidance light duration is. Maybe we can figure that out.
Yep.
You have your mirror settings.
It does have the puddle lights.
Yes, it has puddle lights on the door handles, I noticed, which is really nice.
Maybe that's the guidance lights. Maybe they only cut on for 36 or 96.
Or is that the welcome lighting?
Yeah, I don't know. So
anyway, you have your power mirrors or colors, and you can set up settings here. I do appreciate you have auto dimming side mirrors, and you can adjust the level of auto dimming, which is super cool. You don't see that often. And then you have your wipers for wiper service and rain sensor. Yep. So very standard stuff. This is also how you would manually power off a vehicle. You come over here, this is your app drawer, as we previously mentioned. You can have a settings here as well, which gets you into all the car settings. Yeah. This vehicle does support software updates over the air.
We checked already.
We checked, there's not one currently available. And then this is all very much Android options and settings, which we're used to seeing. You can come in, You also have your Google Play Store, so that's how you would add more apps. So just for example, this is kind of what it looks like. You've got all sorts of little Android apps. You can even do like a radar, which is cool. You can add up charge. You can have plug share on your screen here, which would honestly be awesome. I actually love that. And then you have individual driver profiles, which thank you, Wayne, for selling this car at some point.
Yes.
You can come in here and you can set up digital keys here, which is nice, and you can connect profiles. So like physical keys, your wife has one key, you have one. When your wife gets in, it's her profile. When you get in, it's yours. Love to see it. Coming down here, you have your climate screen, so you can get to it by tapping the little fan. Right now we're on eco climate. You've got your kind of settings of where do you want the air to come out, defrost, feet, body,
whether it
or
recirculates,
full auto.
Defrost, or yeah.
You can also come in here for parking, so you can set up now timers, add a timer, and then whatever time you set, the climate will come on and keep the car tipped.
So
nice
if you want it ready at 7 a.m. in the morning when you go in the car, it's ready for you.
You have your auto seat heating here as well, and auto refrost. Coming down here, you also have your quick shortcuts here for temperature, so you can tap, 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 tap. It makes sense. You have your heated seat, no cooled seats in this, but that's kind of expected. As we mentioned, this is a full cloth interior.
Yep.
Knowing how Polestar is, I wouldn't be surprised if you could only get full cloth on Polestar 2, but I wouldn't also be surprised if there's like a vegan leather or just other kind of fakey or fake material. That said, I don't mind cloth seats.
No, I don't mind. I mean, especially with having kids, so it doesn't bother me.
These feel pretty good. My one kind of gripe on seating position is I wish I could sit a little lower. I have the seat pretty low. I have it as far down as it will go right now, and I've got headroom, but I just kind of would like to, since it is a sedan,
I'm sitting low, but then again, I think you're more longer torso than I am. I'm longer legs, so.
We can talk about the gauge cluster here for a second. Can you see it?
I'm going to hand it to you.
So, this is kind of our key up. So you have your speed on the left, your power meter on the right, state of charge, and range. You can hit this button on the steering wheel, and it'll take a second as a little animation, and now you have your Google Maps up there.
So pop up Google Maps, it's awesome.
Yes.
On the heads up, so yeah.
Especially since, your kind of key up screen here does not necessarily have the map on the screen.
Yep.
So I do love that you can do that, and you have a little thing here if that's your volume. I don't actually want that. You have voice control, so the car does have Google Assistant, so you can hit that button. Turn on my heated seat.
Sure, turning on the seat heater for the driver.
Nice.
Thank you. A lot of people don't use those features.
Turn off my heated seat.
All right, turning off the seat heater for the driver.
And you can use that for navigation as well, too.
Right. This has your driver's assistance controls, which I'm excited to try out. You've got your light stalk over here, which does have a surprisingly large number of settings on it. And then your wiper stalk. All that's fairly standard. Same thing, door card, all standard stuff. You do have electronic child locks, which I appreciate. You got your window switches, power fold your mirrors, of course. You have seat memory all the way down here. But really, not a whole lot else to this interior. It's a pretty simple interior.
Which we expect from Polestar.
The person before had dogs. I can see it on the headliner. But yeah, I'm excited to drive it. You excited?
All right, we're going to get this out on the main road, and we'll join you here in a few minutes.
All right.
So, sorry, Sebastian. We're going to do a little thing with the cameras here check out the cameras before we get started.
Yeah, so we'll hit cameras here. The car does have to be in the on state to do it. You do have a 360 camera, which is nice. Top down, you can't actually kind of fly around, but you can go in and select your side. You get your sides. I do wish you could still have the 360 view kind of all the time, just compressed. But this is a kind of small screen, so I get it. And there's your backup. You do also come in here and you can turn on your visual guides. You can adjust them for tow bar specific, and you can change the volume of the parking assist, which is nice. Anyway, now that that's done, let's
take it for a drive.
Am I in drive? Yes.
We turn the camera on, and we're ready to go. So on the drive over, I did notice good regen, even at 100%. So we had some of that brake blending.
Right. Yeah. And I was in the passenger seat, but I'm assuming that just means Polestar is doing a good job of actually, kind of blending friction brake to make sure the car feels the same no matter what percent you're at.
Yeah. Because at 100% in a Tesla, there is really no blending of the brakes. So you have to press them.
Back window is really small. I'm sure you noticed that when you were driving, but yeah, it's
and there's
quite
no option
tiny,
for it.
And there is no camera, correct. All right, we are not going to hit the jogger.
Nope.
He had a glorious ginger beard.
He did.
Sorry, squirrel. That said, so this is low speed. We're just doing 27 miles an hour right now. A little bit of road noise.
A little, yep.
But it's a used car, so I don't know if that's tire wear or anything like
what
that.
What size tires were on these again?
This was 19-inch wheels.
19-inch. Okay.
That said, it's not bad at all, even just like kind of low speed. And suspension feels pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
There's some definite more bumpiness than like you would get in some other sedans in this price, kind of. But this is not bad at all, I don't think. And it's got, feels really solid considering we are at 99% state of charge.
Yep.
Coming around, again, I've seen people talk about this before. The Polestar 2 has a lot of stuff it does right. I've seen people talk about the ergonomics are weird. Because I'm just sitting here like trying to rest my arm and like I'm either way up here or all the way down here.
Slope.
And
it's slow. So if you don't realize it, it really has a really definite slope to it. So it's kind of hard to keep your arm up there without it falling off.
Yeah, and I'll ask you, you're in the passenger seat. How do you feel your legroom is right now?
So legroom is good. So here's the issue I have with the legroom. It's not wide.
Yes, it's narrow.
It's narrow. So lengthwise it's fine, but I can't. It's not wide.
That is exactly what I noticed when I got in, and it took me a second to try to adjust and figure out. But again, those are just little gripes, right?
Yep.
I'm nitpicking right now.
Yep.
Ultimately, I haven't even driven this very long, and I already really like it.
Yep.
You know, I currently drive a Chevy Bolt, right? And for this is a logical like replacement vehicle for someone because it has similar range. It has, it's got better tech, of course, and because it's all-wheel drive, we won't actually do it yet. Never mind. But it's got plenty of power as well.
Yeah. So if you're curious, so this is at Evolve Auto, a 2022 Polestar 2 long-range dual motor. This car right here, with the tax credit, $20,000.
Okay.
$870. So yeah, not a bad price.
That's
with the tax
not bad
credit.
at all.
Nope. With only 22,000 miles on it, so very low mileage still.
Yeah, and that said, a used car, it drives fine.
Yep. Didn't notice any degradation.
Yeah, it's
very minimal.
I mentioned, yes, the suspension's a little bumpy. I think that's probably just because it's kind of more of a sporty vehicle.
Yep.
It kind of has more of that sporty, and it's a sedan. I have to keep reminding myself that sedans typically
just like
ride
we noticed, the Ioniq 6 drove a little bit rougher than the Ioniq 5.
Right.
So yeah, because it's a sedan.
Yeah. I just have to keep reminding myself because I'm so used to hatchbacks and SUVs because there's not that many sedans out there, especially not electric sedans. Man, the regen and brake blending is really good. Every time I come to slow down, it like surprises me a little bit. I'm actually going to go this way a little bit because I want to get over. I'm going to come into vehicle. We're going to go sport mode, which turns off traction control, which is hilarious because it's a Volvo. And
we go.
I'm going to let this truck do what this truck is doing.
Yikes!
Yeah, that feels really good.
That was really good.
And like it's not like Tesla model whatever performance level, right? But that felt really good.
For a sedan, yes.
And for it to be a Volvo, it's not a Volvo, it's a Polestar.
Yeah.
But for it to be a Volvo.
But we noticed the same thing in the EX30. It had a really good.
Yeah, and it's like that wasn't like so aggressive it hurt.
Yeah.
But it's still like there was no tire spin, especially considering traction control was off.
Yeah, no tire spin.
Like it still maintained itself. It did like the throttle control was excellent.
Yep.
It feels really good, and that's one of the things about this car that I've always heard is like they drive, like their driving dynamics are great.
Yep.
We're gonna go over here now and get back on Broadway so we can get it out on the interstate.
So we're gonna join you here in a few seconds once we get on the interstate. But yes, now too. All right, we are on the freeway, or getting onto the freeway here, doing freeway speed. So I noticed what you said about the bumps. This is a bumpy road though, but it's nothing too crazy with the bumps.
Yeah, and really like
it handles itself well over them.
And honestly, you hear them more than you feel them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've noticed immediately. We've got to get over like 4 lanes very quickly.
Welcome to
new construction in North Little Rock.
Yep.
However, we got plenty of gumption to do it. So
we got a Tesla in front of us.
We got a Tesla in front of us hitting their brakes for some reason.
Yep.
Are you on FSD? Because if so, that was not a good.
That was not a good.
That was not a good showing.
That's right.
So once we get on 40, I am going to try out the driver's assistance on this thing just to see. Again, this is a 2022, so I don't know how the driver's assistance. And then they just got right back over. They don't know what they're doing.
Tesla drivers.
They don't know where they're going. Yeah, I mean, if you see a guy driving a Tesla Model Y, you just know they're a bad driver.
I am one too. Now he knows where he's going. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
We love Tesla owners.
Need to get over again. It's not a car.
It doesn't try to do the lane assist like the Kias do while you're driving.
I don't know if it's on.
Okay.
Because it's not showing me anything on the screen.
Yep.
However, I thought when we went in here,
we had it on.
Assist. It is on, so I don't know if you have to be in.
Yeah.
Let me see. So now that I'm out here.
I will say that is an annoying feature in the Kia. I mean, you can turn it off, but it's an annoying feature.
Yeah.
As you're
I do appreciate that the Kia does separate it from the rest of. Okay, adaptive cruise control is now set.
Yeah.
So I've noticed there's a little steering wheel icon in the bottom, but it's not lit up or anything. Oh, pilot assist. Okay. There we go. Pilot assist off. Okay, so that's a little weird. So it is showing me a picture showing a hand on the wheel. So I'm assuming it wants me to keep my hand on the wheel. I am only letting go because I want to know if it's a capacitive or torque wheel. And also to see if it's keeping us centered around this bend, which honestly it is. It's doing a really decent job. Hold steering wheel.
There we go.
Okay, it is a torque wheel, and it wants a lot
of torque, yes.
Yeah. I just noticed the floor on the driver's side dips down.
It does?
For the pedals.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I think in the first Polestar that Colin had at Evolve.
I just went to move my foot back a little bit because we're on cruise control.
What does it tell you? Does it tell you kilowatts per hour? What besides your little icon on it? It says TA.
So that is our trip efficiency average. So we are currently using, our efficiency is 51.5 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. I really don't like that unit.
You got to get a calculator out.
And I could have swore at some point that I thought there was a way on these Volvo vehicles to come in here and tell it you want a different unit, but I apparently made that up. So
you lied.